Hello students, we are starting with the fourth lecture from the chapter aldehyde ketones and carboxylic acid. Now the first topic for today's lecture is the oxidation reaction. In the previous lecture we have discussed the reduction reaction. Now starting with the oxidation reaction. As we have already discussed, according to the scheme of oxidation, the aldehyde on further oxidation will give us the carboxylic acid. Also the ketones, they on further oxidation will give us the carboxylic acids, and carboxylic acid on further oxidation they will give us the carbon dioxide on complete oxidation. Now let's proceed with the oxidation of aldehydes. The oxidation of aldehydes to carboxylic acid without any loss of carbon atom due to the presence of weak CH bond on the carbon-carbon atom. In case of aldehyde, this CH bond is very weak, and because of the weak CH bond, it can undergo easy cleavage and gets easily converted into the carboxylic acid. And why this bond is very weak? Because of this electron withdrawing nature of this C double bond O group. Because of the electron withdrawing nature of this C double bond O group, this CH bond is quite weak, and as a result it can easily undergo cleavage to form the carboxylic acid. That's why the oxidation of aldehyde can be easily carried out not with the strong oxidizing agent, also with the weak or mild oxidizing agent. That aldehyde can be oxidized to carboxylic acid even with the mild oxidizing agent. So what are the different oxidizing agents which we can use in the oxidation of aldehydes? They are acidified KMnO4, acidified dichromate, concentrated HNO3, H2CrO4, that is chromic acid. They are the strong oxidizing agent. With them we can easily oxidize the aldehydes to carboxylic acid. But due to their easy oxidation, the oxidation of aldehyde can also be carried out with bromine water, Tollens reagent, Fehling's reagent. They are weak oxidizing or mild oxidizing agent. Even with these oxidizing agents, we can easily oxidize the aldehyde to carboxylic acids. Now moving with first oxidation, that is oxidation with Tollens reagent. Now first of all, what is Tollens reagent? Tollens reagent is ammoniacal silver nitrate solution. That silver nitrate dissolved in ammoniacal solution, that is ammonium hydroxide solution, or silver nitrate solution containing the ammonium hydroxide, that is ammoniacal silver nitrate solution, and this is known as the Tollens reagent. How it is prepared? We will add the ammonium hydroxide solution to the silver nitrate solution. This will first give us the brown PPT, and we go on adding the ammonium hydroxide solution to the silver nitrate solution further, drop by drop, till the brown PPT first form completely dissolves. After the dissolution of those brown PPT, the solution will be known as the Tollens reagent, and this Tollens reagent is formulated as this Ag NH3 twice positive plus OH negative. These NH3 twice, these two NH3 are forming a complex with this silver ion. Now how the reaction is written with this Tollens reagent, how the reaction is taking place. Here we have taken an aldehyde molecule and Tollens reagent is added to it, and the mixture of the two is heated in a water bath. There is no direct heating of the mixture on the flame. The heating is done through the water bath. That the mixture present in a test tube is placed in a container having the water, and that container is heated. This is the heating through the water bath. Now how the reaction is taking place? You see here aldehyde is converted into the carboxylate ion, not the carboxylic acid. Why? Because the medium is basic, and basic medium, the acid will form the salt. So it is a carboxylate ion. Here the carbon is, this carbon is having the oxidation state of +3, and here the oxidation state of carbon is +1 because of two oxygen atom, two bond with oxygen atom and one with hydrogen, +1 oxidation state. So during this oxidation, the +1 will change into the +3 oxidation state. So there is an increase of 2 oxidation, 2 units of oxidation number. So to balance the increase and decrease in oxidation, so here the reduction will take place. There is decrease in oxidation number take place by 2 units to balance the increase and decrease in oxidation number. Here silver is present in +1 oxidation state because these are neutral, and due to this positive charge, this silver in +1 oxidation state. Silver from +1 oxidation state will move to the 0 oxidation state. That it is undergoing reduction, but there is only change of 1 unit in oxidation number. To balance the change in oxidation number, we have taken this 2 Ag positive ion. So there will be net change in oxidation number or net decrease in oxidation number of 2 units. So increase in oxidation number and decrease in oxidation number is balanced. So what are these ions? Here, as I have formulated the tolerance reagent as AgNH3 twice positive plus OH negative. So there are 2 units. So I have taken 2 OH negative along with it. One more OH negative ion is taken. Why? Because the medium is basic. In tolerance reagent, we have added ammoniacal solution, that is ammonium hydroxide solution, and due to the OH negative ion, the medium is basic, and the acid will form the salt. To form the salt from the acid, we have taken one more OH negative ion. So how the reaction is taking place? How I am writing the reaction? How we can easily remember that how to write down the complete reaction? Now write the equation in this way: aldehyde molecule, 2 units of tolerance reagent, and one more OH negative ion to form the salt. From these 2 OH group, remove one water molecule, H2O, one water molecule, not 2. One water molecule is removed and one oxygen is left. Give this oxygen atom to this aldehyde group to make this CH bond as COH. Now carboxylic acid is formed. So this portion is over. Now these 2 Ag positive ion will change into silver metal, right? These 4 NH3 positive ion, NH3 molecule, they will go out as such. Now we are left with only one OH negative ion, and that OH negative ion will combine with H positive ion of this carboxylic acid. OH negative ion and H positive ion of the carboxylic acid formed, that will convert into the second water molecule, and we will get the carboxylate ion. I am once again repeating, from these 2 OH molecule, remove one water molecule and one oxygen is left, give it to this aldehyde and make it carboxylic acid. Convert this Ag positive ion into silver metal. 4 NH3 will be written as such, and now this third OH negative ion, that will combine with H positive ion of this carboxylic acid to convert it into salt, that is carboxylate ion, and to form the second water molecule. In this way, we can easily remember the oxidation of this reaction with tolerance reagent. Now this reaction has very much importance in distinction reactions, in distinction methods. The silver metal obtained during the reaction, it gets deposited on the inner surface of the test tube. As a result, the test tube surface will shine like a mirror due to the deposition of silver, and it can be easily viewed. So this reaction is having a visible change which can be easily observed. So all those compounds which give this reaction will form the silver mirror with this tolerance reagent, and those which do not give this reaction, they will not give this silver mirror with tolerance reagent, and thus we can distinguish between the 2 compounds. Now what are those compounds which cannot give this silver mirror, the tolerance reagent? They are the ketones. So we can distinguish aldehyde from the ketones from this reaction. Now why ketones are not giving this reaction? Because in ketones, this C double bond O group is attached on both the sides with the carbon atom. And for the conversion of ketones into carboxylic acid, we have to break this carbon-carbon bond. This carbon-carbon bond is, in case of ketone, I am not talking of aldehyde, I am talking of ketones. In ketones, on both the sides there is carbon atom. So for the conversion into carboxylic acid, we have to break this carbon-carbon bond in case of ketones, and which is very strong, which cannot be easily broken. That's why their oxidation cannot be carried out with mild oxidizing agent. That's why they do not give reaction with Tollens reagent and do not form silver mirror. So with this reaction, this reaction is given by aldehyde and not by the ketones. And with this reaction, or with this formation of silver mirror during this reaction, we can distinguish between the aldehyde and ketones. So this reaction is also taken as the test for distinction between the compounds, and that's why this reaction is also known as the silver mirror test. So the reaction of aldehyde with Tollens reagent will lead to the formation of silver mirror and is used as a reaction to distinguish between aldehyde and ketones, and reaction is also known as silver mirror test. It is given by both aliphatic and aromatic aldehyde. Both will give Tollens test or this silver mirror test. Next is Fehling's reagent, oxidation with Fehling's reagent. Now what is Fehling's reagent? Fehling's reagent is an alkaline solution of copper sulfate containing some Rochley's salt. Now what is this Rochley's salt? It is sodium potassium tartrate, that is sodium potassium salt of tartaric acid. So Fehling's reagent is alkaline solution of copper sulfate, that is copper sulfate is containing some OH negative ion, alkaline solution. Now what is the purpose of this Rochley's salt? Actually, the Fehling's reagent is made while carrying out the reaction, that is before carrying out the reaction, the Fehling's reagent is made by mixing two solutions, Fehling solution A and Fehling solution B. What is Fehling solution A? It is aqueous solution of copper sulfate. And what is Fehling solution B? It is alkaline solution of Rochley's salt. Before using this before carrying out this Fehling's reaction or reaction with Fehling's reagent, we will mix these two reagents to form the Fehling's reagent. Now what is the function of this Rochley's salt? Actually, this copper sulfate contains copper 2 positive ion, and copper 2 positive ion in the presence of OH negative ion from this alkaline solution will form the PPT of copper hydroxide and will not remain in the solution for carrying out the reaction. So to make the copper 2 positive ion within the solution, or to remain, or because the copper 2 positive ion remain in the solution and do not move out of the solution as PPT, we have taken this Rochley's salt. This Rochley's salt or sodium potassium tartrate will make a complex with copper 2 positive ion. They form a soluble complex with copper 2 positive ion. As a result, the copper 2 positive ion will not combine with OH negative ion to form the PPT. They remain in the solution for carrying out the reaction. So in the absence of Rochley's salt, the PPT will form and the reaction will not be carried out. So what is the function of tartrate as sodium potassium tartrate? That Rochley's salt will form a water soluble complex with copper 2 positive ion and keep the copper 2 positive ion within the solution even in the presence of OH negative ion. This is Fehling's reagent. Now how the reaction is written, how the reaction takes place, what are the changes taking place. We can formulate the Fehling's reagent as this: copper 2 positive plus 2 OH negative ion. As per the chart, 2 positive, I have taken 2 OH negative ion. Now during this reaction, the copper 2 positive will be changed into copper 1 positive. Cupric ion will change into the Q plus ion. That is, copper 2 positive will change from plus 2 oxidation state to plus 1 oxidation state. Here the copper is present in plus 1 oxidation state. Again, as I have told in the previous reaction with Tollens reagent, here the oxidation state is plus 1. Here the oxidation state is plus 3. So there is a change of 2 units, increase of 2 units of oxidation number. So to balance, we have to decrease the oxidation number by 2 units. So copper 2 positive will change into copper 1 positive. So I have taken 2 units of copper, 2 copper 2 positive ion. They will change into 2 copper 1 positive ion to balance the increase and decrease in oxidation number. Let's see how to write down the reaction. Now, because of these 2 units, I have taken 4 OH negative ion and 1 OH negative ion extra from the basic medium. Why? Because during this reaction, carboxylic acid is formed, and in the basic medium it will form the salt. To make the salt, the OH, 1 extra OH negative ion is taken to form the salt. Now, just as in the previous case, take 2 OH negative ion and remove 1 water molecule. 1 water molecule on this side, and 1 oxygen atom is given to this CH bond to make it as carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid. From the other 2 OH negative ion, remove 1 water molecule again and make it as 2H2O. And the oxygen atom is given to this copper 2 positive ion to convert it into the red PPT of Cu2O. Now this portion is over. We are left with this OH negative ion. And this OH negative ion will take up the H positive from the carboxylic acid to convert it into carboxylate ion and form the third water molecule. In this way, you can easily write down the reaction. I am once again repeating. We have taken the 2 units of Fehling's reagent. Why? Because to balance the increase and decrease in oxidation number. And 1 more OH negative ion to form the salt with the carboxylic acid. From the 2 OH negative ion, make 1 water molecule, and 1 oxygen atom is left, which is given to this aldehyde to convert it into the carboxylic acid. From the other 2 OH negative ion, make 1 more water molecule, and the oxygen atom left is given to these copper ions to convert it into the PPT of Cu2O red PPT. The last OH negative ion will combine with the H positive ion of this carboxylic acid to form the carboxylate ion and third water molecule. In this way, you have written the reaction. Sorry. Now, this Fehling's reagent can also be taken as a test for distinction between the aldehyde and ketones. Why? Due to the formation of red PPT, which can be easily observed in the reaction mixture. This Fehling's reaction with Fehling's reagent, which is also known as Fehling test, is given by aliphatic aldehyde and not by the aromatic aldehyde. So, this reaction can be used as a test of distinction between the aliphatic aldehyde and aromatic aldehyde, and also between the aliphatic aldehyde and ketones, because only the aliphatic aldehyde will give this test and not the ketones and not by the aromatic aldehyde. So we can distinguish aliphatic aldehyde from aromatic aldehyde and also the aliphatic aldehyde from the ketones. Now the question arises, why this Fehling's reagent are not able to oxidize the aromatic aldehyde? Why they can only oxidize the aliphatic aldehyde? Now we have told in this topic that this CH bond is very weak. Why CH bond is very weak? Due to the electron withdrawing nature of this C double bond overload. This is an aromatic aldehyde and this is an aliphatic aldehyde. Here there is an alkyl group, here there is an benzene ring. Both are electron donating. It is because of the plus R effect, it is because of the minus I effect, plus I effect. It is having more electron donating power. That's why in this case the CH bond is little bit stronger, and here due to less electron donation this CH bond is little bit weaker. That's why it is easily oxidized, it is not easily oxidized. For the oxidation of this substance we have to use little bit stronger oxidizing agent. So here Tollens reagent is stronger oxidizing agent as compared to Fehling's reagent. So Tollens reagent can oxidize both aromatic aldehyde as well as aliphatic aldehyde, whereas Fehling's reagent, which is comparatively weaker oxidizing agent, so it will oxidize only the more reactive one, that is the aliphatic aldehyde and not the aromatic aldehyde. And why there is a difference of oxidizing power during both the reactions, that is reaction with Tollens reagent and Fehling's reagent. In Tollens reagent, Ag positive will change into Ag, and for in Fehling's reagent or Fehling's reaction with Fehling's reagent, the copper 2 positive will change into copper 1 positive. These are the reduction potential, and we know that greater the reduction potential, more stronger is the oxidizing agent. So, because the Ag positive slash Ag, that is Ag positive by Ag, this reduction potential is much higher as compared to the copper 2 positive by copper 1 positive. That's why the Tollens reagent, which is having this reduction process going on in them, that they are stronger oxidizing agent as compared to the Fehling's reagent. And because Fehling's reagent is a weaker one, so it will oxidize the more reactive one, not the less reactive one. Next, one important case from the carboxylic acid in this Tollens test and Fehling's test. This Tollens test and Fehling's test is also given by the formic acid, the only carboxylic acid which gives this test. So, Tollens test and Fehling's test is given only by the formic acid out of all the carboxylic acid. Why this is so? Here in the case of formic acid, if we view this formic acid molecule from this side, it is having the C11OH, and from this side the C11O group is attached to hydrogen atom, and because of this, it is also showing some of the reactions of the aldehyde group, like the oxidation by the mild oxidizing agent. Now, how can we write down the? So we have understood that why this formic acid is showing the Tollens test and Fehling's test, and because of the presence of hydrogen atom on this C11O group. As a result, it is resembling with the aldehyde group from this side and showing the oxidation reaction just like the aldehydes. How to write down the reaction? Here in this case, we see that in formic acid, the oxidation state is +2. On further oxidation, it will convert into the carbon dioxide in +4 oxidation state. Here in this case, we will convert it into the carbon dioxide. It is getting oxidized not into the carboxylic acid, it is already carboxylic acid. It will further oxidize to carbon dioxide. How the reaction will take place? We have taken 2 units of Tollens reagent to balance the decrease in oxidation number and increase in oxidation number. 2 units of oxidation number will increase, here 2 units of oxidation number will decrease. But we have one thing you should note, that we have not taken the extra OH negative from the basic medium. Why? Because here the CO2 is formed and there is no chances of salt formation with it. That's why we have not taken OH negative and extra OH negative here. How the reaction is written? Similar in the case, we have not taken the extra OH negative ion to form the salt with the carboxylic acid, because carboxylic acid is not formed, here the carbon dioxide is formed. Now, how to write down the reaction? From this 2 OH negative ion, remove one water molecule, remove one water molecule and place it on this side, and the oxygen atom is given to this. As a result, this CH bond will convert to the COH. Now this compound is having COH on this side and OH group on this side. Now what is that compound formed? C double bond O, OH and OH. If we combine all the atoms and write them together, it will be written as H2CO3. H, 2H, and C carbon and 3 oxygen atom, 1, 2 and 3. Because after oxidation, this CH bond will be converted to the OH group. H2CO3 is carbonic acid, and that will get decomposed into the CO2 and H2O. As a result, CO2 is formed, and one more water molecule is formed. And in this Tollens reagent, the 2 Ag positive will change into the 2 Ag metal, and 4 NH3 molecule will be as such on the other side. And this silver metal will form the silver mirror. in case of Fehling's reagent or reaction with Fehling's reagent, that is Fehling test. Similar, we have taken 2 units of Fehling's reagent. From these 2 OH negative ion, remove 1 water molecule, keep it on this side, and 1 oxygen atom is given to this to make the CH bond as COH. Now this carbonic acid is formed and it will get decomposed into the CO2, and 1 more water molecule is formed to form the 2 water molecules. So the remaining 2, from the remaining 2 OH negative ion, make 1 water molecule more and take it as, and so there will be 3 water molecule on this side, and the oxygen atom left will combine with the copper to form the CO2 red PPT. In this way, we can write down the reaction of formic acid with Tollens reagent and Fehling's reagent. Next is oxidation of ketones. Till now we have discussed the oxidation of aldehyde. Now we are taking up the oxidation of ketones. Now, as I have told earlier, during the oxidation of ketones, just have a look at this compound. During the oxidation of ketone, for converted into the carboxylic acid, we have to break this carbon-carbon bond for making one COH bond on this side. And the breaking of carbon-carbon bond is quite difficult because carbon-carbon bond is quite strong. That's why the oxidation of ketone take place only with the strong oxidizing agent, and that too under drastic condition or under high temperature. So the oxidation of ketone, so one thing you should note, that oxidation of ketone involves breaking of carbon-carbon bond. That is not easy to take place, so it will take place in the presence of strong oxidizing agent, and that too under the high temperature, that along with strong heating. Now what will happen after the oxidation of ketone? In the oxidation of ketone, just I have written here the pentane 3-one. Oxidation, during the oxidation of ketone, the breaking of carbon-carbon bond will take place. Now the carbon-carbon bond is on both the sides. Which carbon-carbon bond will be broken during the oxidation of ketone? So if the ketone is symmetrical, that it is having both same group on both the sides, just like in pentane 3-one, we have ethyl group on this side as well as ethyl group on this side. So if the ketone is symmetrical, then the breaking of bond can take place in any of the 2 ways, from this side or from this side, because as it can give same product from both the sides. So if it is broken, it is broken from this side, then we will get 2 carbon carboxylic acid from this side, that is CH3. This CH2 will convert into the COOH, CH3COH, and these 3 carbon atom will also be forming the carboxylic acid CH3, CH2, C double bond O along with OH, this propanoic acid and ethanoic acid. You can break the bond from any of the 2 sides, the same product is obtained. But if the ketone is unsymmetrical, that the ketone is not having the same group on both the sides, then the breaking of bond will take place in such a way, that and the smaller, that this C double bond O group goes with the smaller alkyl group. Meaning thereby, if the ketone is unsymmetrical, that is having different alkyl group, then the breaking of bond, carbon-carbon bond, will take place from that side, so that this C double bond O group, that is keto group, goes with the smaller alkyl group. So here in this case, this CH3 is smaller alkyl group, so the breaking of bond will take place from this side, so that the C double bond O group goes with this CH3. So what will be obtained after this oxidation? Here the same oxidizing agents are used, that is concentrated HNO3, K1O4, Bi-H2SO4, K2CH2, Bi-H2SO4. These oxidizing agents are used along with strong heating. So what will happen? The breaking of bond will take place from this side, and we will get CH3, C double bond OOH, that is carboxylic acid from these 2 carbon atom, that is ethanoic acid, and from here also the 2 carbon carboxylic acid is formed, that is ethanoic acid. And this conclusion is known as the Popoff's rule. Next, one important point: if during such oxidation we get formic acid as the product, अगर हम इस ऑक्सीडेशन में हमारे पास ऑक्सीडेशन तो होती है, यानी कि कार्बन कार्बन बॉन्ड की ब्रेकिंग होती है, एंड द प्रोडक्ट फॉर्म्ड is also having formic acid in it. Then instead of formic acid, we will know that during the after the oxidation, we will not get the formic acid as the final product. We will get the carbon dioxide and water molecule instead of it. Why this is so? Let's see an example. In case of propanone, as it is a symmetrical ketone, the breaking bond can take place from any of the two sides. It will give same mixture of carboxylic acid. Now from this side, we will have two carbon carboxylic acid, ethanoic acid, and from this side, the single carbon is converted to the methanoic acid. Now, as we have seen earlier in the tolerance test and Pelling test, the formic acid is the only carboxylic acid which gave this tolerance test and Pelling test. So here also, from this side, if we look at this molecule from this side, it is having the C double bond O group attached to the hydrogen atom, just like an aldehyde. So it will be easily oxidized to further oxidation state. So, and here we are using the strong oxidizing agent. It is even oxidized with the mild oxidizing agent. So in the presence of strong oxidizing agent, this methanoic acid will further oxidize to carbonic acid, and which will get decomposed to the CO2 and H2O. That's why in those cases where the oxidation of ketone will give us the one carbon carboxylic acid, that is formic acid, we will not get the formic acid as the final product. Instead of it, we will get the carbon dioxide and water molecule. Next is oxidation of ketones by the use of sodium hypohalite, NaOH, sodium hypohalite, or it can also be written as NaOH plus X2, where X is halogen, chlorine, bromine, iodine, sodium hypohalite, because these two also combine with each other to form the NaOX, that is sodium hypohalite, NaOH. Here in this case, we are discussing primarily the oxidation of methyl ketones. And what are methyl ketones? Methyl ketones are those in which the C double bond O group is permanently on one side attached to the methyl group. That on this C double bond, that is ketone group, there is always one methyl group. On the other side, it can be any other alkyl or aryl group. So here we are discussing the oxidation of methyl ketones only by the use of sodium hypohalite. Now, the ketones which have one CH3 group attached to C double bond O group are called the methyl ketones. This reaction is called as the haloform reaction. Now, this reaction with the this reaction with the sodium hypohalite is also known as the haloform reaction, because during this reaction the haloform is formed. What is haloform? CH(H)3, and this is the compound which you have read in the first chapter of our organic chemistry part, that is haloalkanes and haloarenes. There you have read about the haloform or the chloroform. If this X is Cl, then it will be chloroform. If we have written X here for the halogen, then it will be haloform instead of chloroform. Now, if in this compound this X is iodine, then it will be iodoform. So, in this reaction of oxidation of methyl ketone with sodium hypohalite, we get haloform. That's why this is called as the haloform reaction. And if this X is iodine, then the compound will be iodoform and the reaction will be known as the iodoform reaction. Now, how can we write down the iodoform reaction? Iodoform reaction को हम किस तरीके से लिखेंगे? Let's see. This is the methyl ketone on the C double bond O group, there is one CH3 group on one side, and on the other side it is having the R group. First of all, this iodine will react with mixture of NaOH and I2, and these three hydrogen atoms will be removed by this or substituted by the iodine atom. So these hydrogen will combine with 3 hydrogen to form the Hi, and the 3 hydrogen will be placed on this carbon atom to make it as Ci3. In the next step, this compound is getting hydrolyzed with the help of NaOH to form the carboxylic acid and CHI3, that is iodoform. This bond will be broken with the help of water molecule. The carbon will get attached to the, because as one bond is broken, as I have already discussed during the different hydrolytic reactions, that during the hydrolytic reaction we have to look at the bond which is undergoing breaking during the hydrolysis reaction. If it is single bond, the water will also break in such a way so that the single bond of water is broken. So as the single bond in water is broken, it will give two parts, that is OH and H. The H will combine with this part and OH will combine with this part to form the carboxylic acid. But as the medium is basic, the carboxylic acid will form the salt, that is RC double bond ONA, that is sodium salt of carboxylic acid. And hydrogen will combine with this part to give you the yellow PPT of iodoform. So the iodoform which is formed during the reaction is forming the yellow PPT. This yellow PPT is quite important here, because the formation of this yellow PPT can be easily observed during the reaction. So the occurrence of iodoform reaction in the compound can be confirmed by the formation of this yellow PPT. So if a compound which is showing this iodoform reaction will form the yellow PPT, and the other compound which is not showing this reaction will not form the yellow PPT. So with the help of this reaction, we can distinguish between two types of compounds. One which is having the CH3 group on C double bond O group, and other which is not having the CH3 group, that is non-methyl ketones. So this reaction can be used as a test of distinction between the methyl ketones and the non-methyl ketones. So due to the formation of yellow PPT of iodoform, this reaction can be used to distinguish between the methyl ketones and non-methyl ketones. This reaction is thus also known as the iodoform test. Now let's see, we can write down the reaction above iodoform reaction in a simple way also. In a simple way we can also write down the reaction, because in the organic chemistry we don't have to show mechanism or the elaborated reaction every time. We have to just simply convert the reactant to product and show the what product is formed during the reaction. So it is one simple way of writing the complete reaction in a single step. Now we have taken propanone here. I am treating it with NaOH and I2 for the iodoform reaction, or we can also write it here NaOH, or simply as OI negative. Sometimes it is also written on the arrow during the reaction, and you have to find out the product. So if it is written OX negative or OI negative, it is hypohalotine. So iodoform reaction will take place. So let's start with this reaction. That this is the propanone, and I am treating it with NaOH and I2 for the iodoform reaction. How the product will be written? Now, in the reaction, you have to break this bond, that is which is formed with the between the carbon group and the methyl group. Break this bond and convert this CH3 into CHI3. That is iodoform, because this compound, this CH3 group in this reaction, this CH3 group will convert first into CI3 and ultimately into CHI3. So here I am directly writing it as CH3 into CHI3, and the remaining portion is combined with ONA, that is sodium salt of carboxylic acid. So for writing the iodoform reaction in a single step, take the compound and break this bond, convert this portion convert this portion CH3 into CHI3 iodoform, and on the remaining portion place O and A, that is O negative and A positive, and convert it into sodium salt of carboxylic acid. Complete reaction in a single step. You can write down it as in this simple way. Here simply in the case of acetophenone, it is also methyl ketone acetophenone. CH3 is present on the C double bond O group. Break this bond, convert this CH3 molecule into CHI3, that is iodoform, yellow PPT, and on this C double bond O group place O negative and A positive, that is sodium salt of carboxylic acid, that is sodium benzoate here. So here you have seen that how can we write down the reaction in a simple way, in a single step. So this is iodoform test for distinguishing between the methyl and non-methyl ketones. Next, I have also discussed here the mechanism of this reaction and how the reaction is taking place. Not in your syllabus, just to see how the things are happening. Here it is a methyl ketone, and because of this C double bond O group, this alpha hydrogen atom at the alpha position, it is acidic in nature due to the electron withdrawing nature of the C double bond O group. It will withdraw the electron density from this carbon atom, and carbon will withdraw the electron density from this CH bond. So H atom is having the partial positive charge, it can be easily lost as H positive ion. So it is acidic in nature. In the presence of strong base like NaOH, the OH negative ion will remove this H positive ion along with it, and the electron will get transferred to the CH2, leading to the formation of this, which is resonance stabilized. This is enolate ion, resonance stabilized enolate ion. Now, it is the resonance hybrid for this structure. Now, this enolate ion will attack the I2 molecule and abstract the I positive ion here, from here, I positive ion, because as this negatively charged ion will approach this I2 molecule, it will push the electron density, of this I2 molecule towards this side. As a result, this I become slightly positively charged, and this iodine atom become slightly negatively charged. And as it become closer and closer, the positive charge increases. Ultimately, it abstracts the I positive ion from this side and making it I negative. So I negative is lost, and this species is formed. So in this way, the hydrogen atom of this CH3 group, is replaced by one iodine atom. So there are more hydrogen atom, two more hydrogen atom, which are replaced in same way, leading to the formation of this species, that is Ci3. I have written combinedly here, that is 2 OH negative ion for this step and 2 I2 molecule for this step. This will give us the Ci3. Just have a look that same all these steps will be performed in the same manner again and again, 2 times, giving rise to this species with the Ci3. Now the hydrolysis take place. How the hydrolysis take place? This OH negative ion from the alkaline medium will attack this carbon atom, because this carbon atom is positively charged. Now here 2 electron withdrawing groups are there, that is Ci3 as well as double bond O, the positively charged carbon atom, which can be easily attacked by the OH negative ion. And as the electrons are transferred to this carbon atom, this double bond will move to this position. This species is formed during the arrangement of electrons again. Thus, negative charge will move to this position, and this Ci3 is lost. In this way, hydrolysis takes place and Ci3 is formed, and we get CH3, C double bond O, OH. That is carboxylic acid. And carboxylic acid is an acid. It can easily release the H positive ion, and this Ci3 is a strong base. It is also basic in nature. So it is because of negative charge, it will abstract the H positive ion from this position and giving us the salt of carboxylic acid and CHI3. So in this way we can get the iodoform. So this is the mechanism for this reaction. So we have discussed here the iodoform test, which can be used to distinguish between the which two compounds, that is methyl ketones and non-methyl ketones. methyl ketones will give us the yellow PPT of iodophor. And how can we write down the reaction in a single step? Just write down the reagent on the arrowhead and break this bond. Convert CH3 into CHI3, and this portion, the remaining portion, is attached to ONA, O negative Na positive, to make the sodium salt of carboxylic acid. But one thing you should note here, that normally in the reaction the student convert this CH3 into, not into CHI3, they convert to CH3I, that placing 3H and single I. That is not iodoform, that is iodomethane. You have to convert it into CHI3, that with 3 iodine. All of you should remember this, that while writing this reaction in a single step, convert this CH3 into CHI3, not CH3I. This is the point which generally use. This is the point at which the students usually commit mistake. They convert this CH3 into CH3I, not in CHI3. So you must remember that the formula of iodoform is CHI3. Next, moving on to the next topic. Yes, on this sheet I have discussed some compounds, pairs of compound, for the distinction between them, that how can you distinguish between them, because in the previous sheets I have discussed some important reactions for distinction. First of all, we have discussed the tolerance test, which can be shown on, by the aldehydes, both aliphatic as well as aromatic aldehyde, and not by the ketones. Then we have discussed pairing test, which is given by the aliphatic aldehyde and not by the aromatic aldehyde and ketones. And then we have discussed the iodoform test, one more test from the ketones, iodoform test, which is given by the methyl ketones and not by the non-methyl ketones. Let's see how can we distinguish. First distinction is between the acetophenone and benzophenone. This is the structure of the acetophenone. In acetophenone, the C double bond O group is attached to CH3. Here in benzophenone, there is no CH3. So how can we distinguish that? Because it is a methyl ketone, it will give us the iodoform test, it will not give us the iodoform test. That's why it is giving the positive iodoform test, it is giving the negative iodoform test. Next is pentane 2-one and pentane 3-one. Writing down the structure, we will get the, we will see that it is a methyl ketone, it is not a methyl ketone. So it will give us positive iodoform test, and this will give us the negative iodoform test. Next is ethanol and propanol. These two are aldehyde and both are aliphatic aldehyde. So both will give tolerance test, both will give iodoform test. How can we distinguish between them? So you must remember that only one aldehyde which give iodoform test is the ethanol, because it is having CH3 group on C double bond O group, while all the other cases the C double bond O group is not attached to the CH3 group. So it is just behaving like the methyl ketone. That's why it is the only aldehyde which give iodoform test. So it will give positive iodoform test, it will not give positive iodoform test. The CO group is not attached to the CH3 group. Next is ethanol and benzaldehyde. In this case of ethanol, the C double bond is attached to CH3 group, so it will give positive iodoform test, it will give negative iodoform test. And one more thing, it is an aliphatic aldehyde, it is an aromatic aldehyde, so it will also give failing test, which is not given by this benzaldehyde. So here failing test can also be used for distinction. Next is benzaldehyde and acetophenone. It is an aromatic aldehyde, it is a ketone, so it will give tolerance test, it will not give tolerance test, because tolerance test is not given by the ketones. And due to the presence of this, I have marked here, and due to the presence of this CH3 group, it is a methyl ketone, so it will give positive iodoform test, it will give negative iodoform test. And last one is the important one, that from the carboxylic acid I have taken two compounds, that methanoic acid or formic acid and acetic acid and ethanoic acid. Yes, how can we distinguish? I have told you at the end of the pairing test and tolerance test that methanoic or formic acid is the only carboxylic acid which gives tolerance test and pairing test. No other carboxylic acid gives, because from this side it appears as the aldehyde group. That's why it also gives us the reactions of the aldehyde, that is Tollens test and pairing test, and hence it will give positive and positive Tollens test and positive pairing test. It will not give us. But after reading this, you will say one thing, that in this compound the C double bond O group is attached to CH3 group, so it will give us the iodoform test. No, it will not give us the iodoform test. Now the question arises, why? Because in the beginning of this, at the beginning of the chemical properties, in the previous lecture, at the beginning of the previous lecture, that is lecture 3, that both aldehyde and ketones and carboxylic acid, they contain carbon group, C double bond O group, but their reaction differs. The aldehyde and ketones gives nucleophilic addition reaction. They give reaction due to the acidic nature of alpha H atom. The acidic nature of alpha H atom is responsible for the iodoform test. Just see, look at this slide. Here in the mechanism, this acidic H atom is lost with this OH negative ion. So this alpha hydrogen atom, which is present at the alpha position in case of ketone, they are acidic in nature, and because of this the iodoform test is happening or taking place. So in case of aldehyde and ketones, the reaction is due to the carbon group, that they are showing the nucleophilic addition reaction, and also showing the reaction due to the acidic nature of alpha H atom. But these reactions are not shown by the carboxylic acid and their acid derivatives. Although they are containing the C double bond O group, but they are not showing the reaction. Same reactions, nucleophilic addition reaction, and the reaction due to the acidic nature of alpha H atom. And why this is so? Because there I have told you that the lone pair of electron present on this oxygen atom is in conjugation, is in resonance with this double bond. As a result, the electron withdrawing power of this double bond, C double bond O group, is reduced, and hence, and because of electron withdrawing power of this C double bond O group is reduced, it will not make this alpha hydrogen atom acidic in nature, sufficient to undergo the iodoform test. So because of this conjugation between these two, that is lone pair of electron on this oxygen atom and double bond, C double bond O group, they are not showing the characteristic reactions of the aldehyde and ketones, like the nucleophilic addition reaction and the reaction due to acidic nature of alpha H atom, just like the iodoform test. That's why, although it contains the CH3 group and C double bond O group, it will not give us the Tollens test. Let's move to the next slide, next sheet, that is aldol condensation. Very important reaction from this chapter, aldol condensation. And this reaction is also because of the acidic nature of the alpha H atom, which we have discussed here in the previous sheet during the iodoform test, that the alpha H atom is acidic in nature. Now let's see what is aldol condensation. The alpha H atom in aldehyde and ketones is acidic in nature due to the following two reasons. First, due to the electron withdrawing minus I effect of C double bond O group, and due to the resonance stabilization of the enolate ion. So in case of both aldehyde and ketones, the alpha H atom is acidic in nature, and the aldol condensation is because of this acidic nature of alpha H atom. So here one thing we should note, that this reaction is shown by both aldehyde and ketones which are having alpha H atom. One major thing, that both aldehyde and ketones which are having the alpha H atom, they will undergo this aldol condensation. Only one H atom is required, not more than that. Take at least one H atom. If it is more than that, then even then the reaction can take place. But one H atom is required, alpha H atom. Now, why this alpha H atom is acidic in nature? Because of this C double bond O group. This C double bond O group is electron withdrawing in nature. it will withdraw the electron density from this carbon atom, and carbon will withdraw the electron density from this hydrogen atom. As a result, this H atom is acidic in nature and can be easily lost with the OH group as H2O, giving this carbon ion, which is resonance stabilized, and it is known as the enolate ion. And second reason is the resonance stabilization of the enolate ion. After the loss of this H positive ion, the species formed is stabilized, resonance stabilized. So the species, if the species formed is more stable, then the reaction or the process can take place readily. So because of the resonance stabilization of this species, and due to the electron withdrawing nature of this C double bond O group, this H atom is acidic in nature. This H atom is going along with this OH negative ion. So these two factors are making the alpha H atom acidic in nature. Now let's see how the reaction is taking place. What is aldol condensation? Now, when an aldehyde or ketone containing alpha H atom is treated with dilute alkali, then two molecules of it combine to form the beta hydroxyaldehyde and beta hydroxyketone. These products, when heated with dilute acids, undergo dehydration to form the alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde or ketones, and this complete reaction is called as the condensation reaction. What is this aldol condensation? In this reaction, if an aldehyde or ketone which is having alpha H atom, now what is alpha H atom? Yes, the H atom which is present at the alpha position, this is the functional group, and the neighboring carbon will be the alpha carbon, and the hydrogen atom on this carbon will be the alpha hydrogen atom. So aldehyde and ketones which are containing alpha H atom, when they are treated with dilute alkali, dilute NaOH, dilute alkali, the two molecule of the compound will combine to form the beta hydroxyaldehyde. And when this compound is further heated with an acid, dilute acid, they undergo dehydration. They will lose water molecule to form the alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde, and this complete reaction will be known as the aldol condensation. Now let's see what are beta hydroxyaldehyde and beta hydroxyketone, and what are alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde and ketones. Now let's see how the reaction is written. I have shown this arrow only to show the movement of atoms during the reaction, not as mechanism. Mechanism I have discussed here. So these are showing only the movement of atoms to write down the different structures during the reactions. So it is ethanol. It is having 3 alpha H atom at this position. It is the alpha carbon. When the ethanol is treated with dilute NaOH, the two will combine to form the beta hydroxyaldehyde. Yes, how the movement take place? This alpha H atom will go to this oxygen atom to make it as OH group. This bond will be broken so that this oxygen can have one free valencies and can form bond with this hydrogen atom. Now this carbon atom is having the free valency as well as this carbon, so this CH2 will go to this carbon. So the structure formed will be CH3 and then CH, and on this there is one OH, CH3 CH OH, and on this C there will be CH2 C double bond OH, CH2 C double bond OH. It is beta hydroxyaldehyde. Why it is beta hydroxyaldehyde? Now this is the functional group, main functional group, and as in comparison to it, it is the alpha position and it is the beta position. On the beta position there is hydroxy group, that's why it is a beta hydroxyaldehyde. IUPAC name 3-hydroxybutanol. And when it is heated with acid molecule, dilute acid, it will lose water molecule. So how the water molecule is removed? OH group from this position, beta position, and H from the alpha position. It is lost, and we will get this compound. It is alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde. It is aldehyde and having unsaturation double bond at the alpha beta position, alpha and beta. This is the alpha position, this is beta position, unsaturated between the alpha and beta position. So it is an alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde. Just as in the case of acetone, that is propanone, the alpha H atom from the one species will go to the C double bond O group of the other species to make the OH group, and thus this CH2 will move to this carbon-carbon. The species formed will be CH3, C, OH, and this CH3. I have written here on the lower side. CH3, C, OH, and CH3. And this CH2 will get attached to this carbon atom. CH2, C double bond O, CH3. On heating it with dilute acid, the water molecule is lost, OH from this position and H from the beta position. And we will get the, that is alpha beta unsaturated ketone. The name of this compound is 4-methyl pent 3N2-one. What is this question mark? This is the question mark for you, that you have to write down the IUPAC name for this compound. So I have to practice for the IUPAC name. Now, why it is called as aldol condensation? Because during this reaction, the product, this product which is formed during this reaction, it is an aldol. Aldol, it is having two parts, ald and ol. Ald from aldehyde and ol from this alcoholic group. That's why this product is known as the aldol product, and this complete reaction will be known as the aldol condensation. So, in the same way, you will say that this product this product will be the ketone. No, because of the structural similarity, that in both the cases the C double bond O group is having the OH group on the beta position. Because of the structural similarity, it will also be known as the aldol product, or the complete reaction is here also is known as the aldol condensation. Let's see one more reaction. That is reaction shown by the propanol. Now, whether the propanol can show the aldol condensation or not, we have seen the condition in which compound will show the aldol condensation. Both aldehyde and ketones, they will show the aldol condensation, and those aldehyde and ketone will show the aldol condensation which will have at least one alpha H atom. Now, let's see propanol is having the alpha H atom or not. This is the functional group, and the neighboring carbon atom is the alpha carbon, and this is the beta carbon, and on this carbon atom there are two H atom. So it is having the two alpha H atom. So it can show aldol condensation. Now, how the reaction is written? This is the other propanol molecule. The alpha H atom from the alpha position will go to the C double bond O group to make the OH, and this carbon will get attached to this position. And what do we get? CH3, CH2, then CH and OH. CH3, CH2, CH and OH. And this carbon will get attached to this carbon. And then CH on it, CH3, I have written it on the lower side, CH and then CH3, and on neighboring there will be an aldehyde group. It is also an beta hydroxyaldehyde, alpha, beta. On beta position there is OH group. On heating it will lose one water molecule to form the alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde. These question marks are for you, that you have to write down the IUPAC names. Now, one question here, that why this H atom, OH group is lost from this position. Now, why H atom is removed from this position, alpha position, not from the gamma position? This is alpha, this is beta, and this is gamma position. Why the OH group is lost from this position? The OH group is lost from alpha position, because of the greater stability of the product formed. So it is the stability of the product formed which is deciding that which hydrogen atom is being lost. Why it is more stable? Because if the double bond is formed at this position, then these two double bond are alternate double and single bond, they will have resonance, and because of resonance they will be more stable. If this double bond is at this position, if this hydrogen atom is lost, then the double bond is at this position, then this double bond and this double bond is not in resonance. Why? Because of the presence of this saturated carbon atom. So due to this, the hydrogen atom is lost only from the alpha position and not from the gamma position. During this reaction, you must understand one thing, that in exams most of the students commit a mistake in this reaction, and that is a very common mistake. But in all these reactions we have removed, that in these two above reactions, that of the ethanol and propanone, in all these reactions we have removed the hydrogen atom from the CH3 group, here from the CH3, here also from the CH3. On the same pattern, the student usually removes the hydrogen atom from this CH3 group. But remember, this reaction is because of the acidic nature of the alpha H atom. So you have to remove or move this alpha H atom and not the beta H atom. H atom is only to be moved from the alpha position. This is the important point in this reaction, that usually the students make mistake at this point. Next, going with the mechanism of this reaction. Now, regarding the mechanism of this reaction, the OH negative one will remove the H positive one from the alpha position due to its acidic nature, giving rise to enolate ion, as I have already discussed. Now, this enolate ion, a negatively charged carbon ion, it will behave as a nucleophile, and this will undergo attack. This will attack the carbonyl group of the other molecule. That here, just like a nucleophilic addition reaction is taking place. So this nucleophile will attack this carbon atom, and this double bond will go to this oxygen atom, CH3, CH, O negative, CH2, C double bond. It is an alkoxide ion, very strong base. So it will remove the H positive ion from the solvent, that is water molecule. H positive ion will go to this carbon atom, sorry, this oxygen atom, and OH negative ion is lost from this, giving rise to beta hydroxyaldehyde. In the next step, how the dehydration takes place. Now this H positive ion will protonate this OH group. And after it, the oxygen will become positively charged, and due to positive charge, it will take this electron and lost as water molecule. As a result, a carbocation is formed. To neutralize its charge, it will lose the H positive from the alpha position to make the double bond, this alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde. Again, the hydrogen atom will be, H positive will be lost from the alpha position to make the product more stable because of resonance which is happening in this case. So with this, we have finished the aldol condensation. Next, moving on to cross aldol condensation. As the name suggests, what is cross aldol condensation? Now, when this when aldol, what is cross aldol condensation? When aldol condensation take place between two different aldehydes or two different ketones, or between an aldehyde and a ketone, then it is called as cross aldol condensation. That simply we can say that when the aldol condensation is taking place between the two different species or two different molecules of the two different substances, and it can be two different aldehydes, or it can be two different ketones, or it can be one aldehyde and one ketone, then it is called as the cross aldol condensation. But the reaction is not useful when both the compounds are containing the alpha H atom. That is, that this reaction is not useful when both the species which are taking part in this reaction, both the different species which is taking part in this reaction are having the alpha H atom. If both these species are taking part, are having the alpha H atom, then the reaction is not useful. Why? Because it gives 4 different products. Now you will say that how the 4 different products are formed. Now let's see, both these species are having the alpha H atom, and during the reaction mixture, and in the reaction mixture, there are large number of molecules of this and large number of molecules of this. So there is a chance that this molecule can react with its own molecule. This molecule can go react with its own molecule. If these are reacting with their own molecule, then these two products are formed, this one and this one. These are the product formed after self-aldol condensation with its own molecule. Now, how these two products are formed? If the alpha H atom will move from this species to this species, from propanone to ethanol, then this product is formed. Say CH3CH, and this will become OH, CH3CH and OH, and this will be attached to this carbon atom. And if alpha H atom is moving from this carbon to this C double bond O group, then this species is formed. Meaning thereby here 4 different products are formed. 2 are formed after the self-condensation, self-aldol condensation, and 2 are formed due to the transfer of alpha H atom from the different species. In one case, in one product, the alpha H atom is moved from this propanone to ethanol, and other case the alpha H atom is moved from ethanol to propanone. So in this way 4 different products are formed, which are very much difficult to separate. That's why this reaction is not useful. Now, to make the reaction useful, how the reaction will become useful? If one of the carbonyl compound does not contain alpha H atom, like in case of formaldehyde and benzaldehyde, then the reaction become useful. So if one of the species which is participating in this reaction is not having the alpha H atom, then the reaction will become useful. Then the reaction is useful because in such cases no different products are obtained, only single product is obtained. For example, if the reaction is carried out between methanol and ethanol, as methanol is not having the alpha H atom, there is no alpha carbon, that's why it is not having the alpha H atom. And if it is this is ethanol, it is having the alpha H atom. Now in this case only one product is obtained, only one product is obtained. Now why? Question arises, why? Here self-aldol condensation cannot take place. Why this is so? Here why ethanol cannot react with its own molecule? Now let's see. As this ethanol molecule is having the alpha H atom, so it will be lost with the OH negative ion, and the enolate ion is formed only from this species, enolate ion, that is CH2 negative C double bond OH. You just look at the mechanism, then you can easily judge that after the loss of H positive ion, enolate ion is formed, and this negative ion will attack the other molecule. Now this enolate ion which is formed from ethanol is having the 2 possibilities for the attack, 2 possibilities or 2 position or 2 places where it can attack, that is on the methanol molecule or on its own molecule ethanol. Now on which it will attack easily? Now enolate ion, that is CH2 negative C double bond OH, enolate ion, this is a nucleophile, and nucleophile will attack the C double bond O carbon, and to undergo the nucleophilic addition reaction. And in the nucleophilic addition reaction, I have already told you that methanol is more reactive as compared to the other aldehyde and ketones. So there will be more chances that this enolate ion with CH2 negative, they will attack the methanol molecule rather than the ethanol molecule, because methanol is more reactive in nucleophilic addition reaction. So here the attack will take place on methanol molecule, and this product is formed. After heating it with acid, the water molecule is lost and prop 2 enol is formed. Next, in case of benzaldehyde and ethanol, here ethanol is having the alpha H atom, benzaldehyde is not having the alpha H atom. Why? Can you understand that why it is not having the alpha H atom? Because this benzaldehyde is having the benzene ring, and at one position it is having the CHO group, that is aldehyde group. In comparison to or with respect to this aldehyde group, this is the alpha position, and we must have alpha hydrogen atom, that is hydrogen atom at this carbon atom, to carry out the or for the compound to react or show the aldol condensation. Now the benzene molecule is having the formula CCH6. This means that all the carbon atom is having only the one hydrogen atom, and this alpha carbon which is in this molecule, this alpha carbon, is having one hydrogen atom in benzene, and during the formation of benzaldehyde, this hydrogen atom from this carbon is removed to place this CHO group. So in this benzaldehyde, the hydrogen atom at this position is not there. So there is no alpha hydrogen atom. So this benzaldehyde is not having the alpha H atom. That's why it cannot show the aldol condensation alone. So here in the cross aldol condensation, one is benzaldehyde with no alpha H atom and one is ethanol with alpha H atom. Now see how the reaction becomes useful. Now in this reaction, the aldol condensation, the hydrogen from this alpha position will move to this group and CH2 will get attached to this. Now this species is formed. Now in the next step, you see here that no heating is done with the acid. Water molecule is lost on its own, giving rise to a compound cinnamaldehyde. Now the question arises, why this water molecule is lost on its own? Let's have a look at this compound. In this compound there is a double bond, then single bond, then double bond, then single bond, then all these double and double bonds are alternate with the single bond. And the system which is having double and single bond alternately, they are in conjugation, or they will show conjugation or resonance. So in this molecule, in this cinnamaldehyde molecule, this double bond and this complete benzene ring, they all are in resonance. So there is an extended resonance, and because of that extended resonance, this product is highly stable. And because of this extra stability, this molecule will lose water molecule on its own to form this highly stable product. And now you can easily understand that why in this reaction the self-aldol condensation product of ethanol molecule is not formed. Because when ethanol molecule, the enolate ion formed from ethanol molecule attack the benzaldehyde molecule, then more stable product is being formed. That's why this reaction will give the single product. So now we have seen that why in the aldol, cross aldol condensation, if only one of the aldehyde is having the alpha H atom, then the reaction is useful because it gives single product. Next, moving on to next topic, that is Cannizzaro reaction. Now what is Cannizzaro reaction? This is also one important reaction from this chapter, usually asked in the examination. That is, what is Cannizzaro reaction? A Cannizzaro reaction, first of all we will see the condition. What is the condition for the Cannizzaro? What is the condition required for Cannizzaro reaction to happen? This reaction is shown only by the aldehyde, not by the ketone. And which aldehyde? Which do not have alpha H atom. This is the major difference from the aldol condensation. In aldol condensation, both aldehyde and ketone participate. Here only aldehyde. In aldol condensation, the aldehyde and ketones are having the alpha H atom. Here they are not having the alpha H atom. So in Cannizzaro reaction, and only the aldehyde will participate which are not having the alpha H atom. So when these aldehyde which is not having the alpha H atom is treated with concentrated NaOH or 50% NaOH, then these aldehyde undergo disproportionation reaction to form a molecule of an alcohol and sodium salt of carboxylic acid. Now what is this disproportionation reaction? This is the term from their chapter 9 or chapter 8 from class 11th, that is redox reaction. There you have studied disproportionation reaction. What is disproportionation reaction? Those reactions in which same species is oxidized as well as reduced. So in this reaction, when aldehyde which is not having the alpha H atom is treated with 50% NaOH, one molecule of the aldehyde is undergoing oxidation to form the carboxylic acid and other molecule is undergoing reduction to form the alcohol, because aldehyde on reduction gives the alcohol. So how the reaction is written? So here we have taken the two compounds, methanol and benzaldehyde. ठीक है, I have told in previous sheet that the benzaldehyde is not also not having the alpha H atom. It is an aldehyde without any alpha H atom. So how the reaction is written? The mechanism is shown here. but how can you simply write down the product? How to write down the product? Here we have taken the two methanol molecule to convert one into the alcohol and other one into the carboxylic acid, and NaOH, and that is 50% NaOH for carrying out the reaction. Now take one alcohol molecule and hydrogen atom from take one aldehyde molecule, hydrogen atom from other aldehyde molecule, that from CHO group, hydrogen atom from the CHO group, from the other aldehyde molecule, and hydrogen atom from the NaOH, these two hydrogen atom and this aldehyde molecule. Give these two hydrogen atom to this molecule and convert it into the methanol alcohol. How? Break this bond and place one hydrogen atom on this oxygen atom and one hydrogen atom on this carbon atom. So alcohol will be formed. Now we are left with ONa and this free bond. Now place this ONa on this carbon. We will get the sodium salt of carboxylic acid. Here in this reaction, not the carboxylic acid is formed. It is sodium salt of carboxylic acid. Why? Because the medium is basic, the acid will always form the salt. So in this way you can easily write down the reaction. Let's have a look at this reaction also, that we have taken the two molecule of aldehyde, remove hydrogen atom from this CHO group and from the NaOH and give it to this C double bond O group. Break this bond, one hydrogen at this position, one hydrogen at this position, this will give benzyl alcohol CCH5 CH2OH, and ONO on this ONA on this carbon, that is giving this species CCH5 C double bond O negative Na, that is sodium benzoate. In this way you can easily write down the reaction. Now let's have a look at the mechanism of this reaction, how the reaction is taking place. The OH negative from the NaOH will attack the carbon-carbon of the aldehyde molecule. As a result, this tetrahedral intermediate is formed. Now this tetrahedral intermediate will release the hydride ion. Here the hydride ion transfer take place from one species to the other species. The hydride ion from this species, the negative charge from this oxygen atom will move to this position on this bond, double bond is formed. As a result, carboxylic acid is formed and this H negative ion will be lost, and this H negative ion as a nucleophile will attack the other aldehyde molecule to form the tetrahedral intermediate. Now here in this step, one carboxylic acid molecule is formed and one alkoxide ion is formed. What is alkoxide ion? The ion which is formed by the loss of H positive ion from the alcohol. Just have a look at this structure. It is having the three hydrogen atom and one O. If we place hydrogen atom on this oxygen atom, it will be an alcohol, methanol. So this species is formed by the removal of hydrogen atom from the alcohol. It will be an alkoxide ion, and alkoxide ion a very strong base. So this alkoxide ion is formed, and this will, being a very strong base, it will abstract the H positive ion from this carboxylic acid to convert it into the alcohol, and a salt of carboxylic acid is formed. In this way the reaction is taking place. Now next is electrophilic substitution reaction. Now what are these electrophilic substitution reaction? Those reaction in which the H positive ion is replaced by some other electrophile. These are the reactions which we usually study in case of the aromatic compounds. In the aromatic compounds, the hydrogen atom from the benzene ring is replaced by some other electrophile, that is electrophilic substitution reaction. As per the chapter aldehyde and ketones, we will study the electrophilic substitution reaction of the aldehyde and ketones, aromatic aldehyde and ketones. Now the aldehyde group and the ketonic group present on the benzene ring is electron withdrawing in nature. It is having the minus R effect. Just look at the structure. This is the benzene ring and this is the aldehyde group. This aldehyde group is electron withdrawing in nature. It is having the minus R effect. Now this aldehyde group is having the electron withdrawing nature, minus R effect. It will withdraw the electron and these different structures are formed. Similarly, in the case of ketone, the C double bond is there, and in place of H, it will be sorry, it will be an alkyl group. Now, these different structures are formed as a result of resonance. As a result of resonance, there is a positive charge on the benzene ring at the ortho position, at the para position, at this ortho position. So, in the aromatic aldehyde and ketones, the aldehyde and ketonic group is electron withdrawing in nature and thereby decreases the positive charge density, electron density at the ortho and para position. That in these structures you can easily see that this CHO group or the aldehyde group is reducing the electron density at the ortho and para position. So, if we carry out the electrophilic substitution reaction in this compound, the electrophile E positive will attack only at those positions where the electron density is higher. And we have seen here the electron density decreases at the ortho and para position due to this resonance. So, which position is having the higher electron density? That is the meta position, this meta position, which is not having positive charge in any of the structure. So, if we carry out the electrophilic substitution reaction, those reaction in which H atom of the aromatic compound is replaced by some other electrophile, the reaction will take place only at the meta position in case of aromatic aldehyde and ketones. Why? Because the aldehyde and ketones, they are having the minus R effect, and because of minus R effect, they are decreasing the electron density at the ortho and para position. So, the electron density is more at the meta position. As a result, the electrophilic substitution will preferably take place at the meta position, and we get the meta substituted product in case of aromatic aldehyde and ketones. So, I have written here two reactions with benzaldehyde on nitration. Nitration is carried out with nitrating mixture, that is mixture of concentrated nitric acid and concentrated H2SO4. It is nitric acid HONO2 HNO3. So, how the reaction will take place? This NO2 group electrophile will go to the meta position, and from here hydrogen which will combine with OH and to give the H2O molecule, and we will get the metra-nitrobenzaldehyde. Similarly, in case of acetophenone, if we carry out the nitration, the electrophilic substitution will take place at the meta position, and we will get the meta-nitroacetophenone. One important thing, this is benzaldehyde, which is easily oxidized even with the mild oxidizing agent, and here we are using the strong oxidizing agent during the reaction for carrying out the reaction. So, that is why we have taken this very low temperature, and because of this low temperature, the product is formed in somewhat small yield. That during the reaction the yield will be lesser, that to form the product or to carry out the reaction and to prevent the oxidation of this aldehyde group to the carboxylic acid, we have taken this lower temperature during this reaction. So, with this we finishes with the fourth lecture of this aldehyde, ketones and carboxylic acid, and also we are finishing the we have finished the aldehyde and ketone part of this chapter. In the next lecture, that is the fifth lecture, we will proceed with the